night, mate, and welcome to the family meeting.
No way. No. Absolutely not. You idiots. No.
Okay. Sorry.
I got stuff to do.
I do not have time to be stupid right now. Okay.
So what to do?
I won't stop watering. Okay. Good morning. I want to say good day. Good morning and welcome to the family meeting. We are glad you're with us. We're going to be recording episode 293 today.
Hey, good job.
Thank you.
That's like the first time in 5 episodes you've got the number right.
I know. Numbers are hard, folks. And here on Family Meeting, we have them right here in front of our face so that we can read them, but sometimes it doesn't work out even so. So this is a crazy busy week, which I feel like that's how every intro to every podcast episode starts.
But she's going to tell you why this week is busy.
This week is uniquely busy because we just celebrated the graduation of our third-born daughter, Sugar, or
Yep.
Abigail.
Yep.
She graduated on Friday, and we had a wonderful graduation ceremony for her. Saturday, we did her graduation party, which was epic and wonderful. Sunday, we spoke together at church on our Family Matters series.
Yep.
And then after that, we went to Jacksonville and did a fitting for our firstborn daughter, Catherine, who is getting married. So we did the alteration fitting for her wedding dress, which was amazing. And the two youngest daughters picked their bridesmaid's dress and ordered those.
Nice.
So that was a super fun day. My mom and sister are visiting, so they got to go with us for that. Then Tuesday was Abigail's birthday. She turned 18.
Cinco de Mayo, Taco Tuesday.
We had Mexican food. We went to the beach. We took her shopping. We got up early, just the three of us, and mom and dad took her to get coffee and go for a walk, just the three of us. We just had such a wonderful day. And then our mother-daughter luncheon event for our church is this Saturday, day before Mother's Day.
Couple days away.
Yep. So that's a really big event that we put a lot of work into. And then, of course, we're also painting houses and managing Airbnbs and doing regular church work. So there's a lot going on in our life in this season. This is a really busy season. It will chill out a little bit after this weekend compared to right now.
Yeah.
But tell us what's going on in your life. I want to hear what you're going to do for your mom for Mother's Day. What are you going to do for your mom? Maybe it's your wife, and you're going to do something for your wife as the mother of your children.
Okay.
So what are you going to do for your wife for Mother's Day? Maybe you don't have your mother with you anymore.
Your wife is not your mom.
Your wife is not your
Somebody
mom.
hear that.
That did come out a little weird.
Yeah.
But I just want to hear like some ideas. Because Thomas is like, what do you want us to do for Mother's Day? And I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, we kind of do the same thing every year because I have my favorite things, and my favorite things never change. So
Yep.
it's probably going to be pretty much like last year and the year before that and the year before that.
Like
for
I text the girls just to remind them, like, hey, it's Mother's Day. Make sure you do X, Y, and Z. But I don't have to do it. They're old enough now. We have 3 adult children now.
Yeah. And we have 4 drivers. So
Yep.
yeah, that's what's going on in our house. I know that you're planning for Mother's Day and getting ready for a lot of things. Spring is busy. Graduations are happening. There's just a lot going on in families. But today we're going to talk about raising your kids. We're going to do a parenting episode today talking about raising your kids to be good husbands and wives and what that looks like. Because we're not just raising kids. We're raising adults. They're going to be future adults. So that's what we're talking about today.
And one of ours is getting ready to get married. So
Yeah.
we've been thinking about this a little bit here.
Yep. So let's jump into the episode.
Gather round, mates. Well, Sandra was being, let's see, I'll be diplomatic. She was being silly.
Good word.
Being silly.
I was going to say
before we
stupid,
got
but
started, but yeah. It's time for a family meeting.
you suck at that accent.
Family meeting is a
Oh,
show that's
stop.
all about family relationships.
My ears are bleeding. You have to stop.
What? This is Jumanji.
No, you're very bad at the Australian accent.
Who said I was Australian?
Well, not Australians.
Yeah.
What are you trying to be?
A Czechoslovakian who lives in Kentucky.
Oh, well, then you nailed it.
Exactly. Where are the oyster camps?
You just offended everyone who lives in Kentucky.
Nuh-uh. How so?
And all Czechoslovakians. I am one of them.
Yeah.
All right, go.
Some of my very best friends are Czechoslovakian.
Thank you.
So, I'm Thomas. And this is my super judgy wife, Lysandra.
Hello. Hello, and welcome to our family. Welcome to episode 293 of the Family Meeting Podcast. On today's episode, we're going to discuss raising kids who grow up to be good husbands and good wives. Because we are not just raising children, we are raising future adults, right?
I feel like your mom and dad could have used this episode 40 years ago.
It is too late for me. We're talking about our kids now because it's too late for you. It's too late for me.
Not too late for me.
Yeah, it's too late
I
for you.
have arrived.
Yeah, right.
I am here.
Well, you need to go back.
In all my glory.
All right, so we're going to talk about how to prepare your kids for healthy marriage, not like the marriage you've just seen displayed between me and Thomas just a second ago, but a healthy marriage. Because we are not just raising kids for today. You are raising someone's future spouse. How does that responsibility hit you, Thomas?
I'm doing a great job, so I feel great about it.
You just got that pesky pride to work on.
No, I've got it under control.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, if we could all be like you.
Well, no, you wouldn't want that because then you'd all be dudes, and then there'd be no kids.
That is true.
So, before we jump into today's very interesting conversation, we kind of have an exciting development.
Yes, we do.
Because Family Meeting is going international.
Whoop, whoop, whoop.
So, podcast, it goes around the world all the time, but we're getting ready to host our first international conference. We've been, a missionary to Estonia has reached out, Vladimir Lukinov. Sorry, Vlad, if I mean, not if.
Sorry that.
Sorry that I butchered your last name there.
Yes.
But reached out about doing a Pastors and Wives conference next April. So this would be April 2027. I'm going to be making our way over to Estonia. And one of the things is we were kind of discussing what was going to happen. I said, hey, just so I get the name of the church and all that right, as we're promoting this event along the way, can you just remind me what it is? So here's the name. All right. It is our church is Kolgata Baptiste Kogudis. So
Sorry.
I'm gonna have to learn how to say that before we get there. But
Yeah, we're both going to have a lot of work to do.
I guess it translates to Calvary Baptist Church, and
Okay.
it is in I'm assuming Tartu, Estonia. So
Very exciting.
yep. So it looks like we're going to be doing 4 sessions over 3 days there, and then that's going to be Thursday, Friday, Saturday. I'll be speaking at the church on Sunday, and we'll have more information about how you can be involved in that, and making that trip possible. But it's something that we've been dreaming about since kind of day one, is like the opportunity to do the thing that we love, which is, marriages and families, and doing international.
Absolutely. It's very exciting.
And so not only are we going international and making our way over there, but going to be speaking to some of our favorite people in the entire world. We have, we are church leaders. We lead Beachside Community Church here in Palm Coast, Florida. And so we have a huge heart to encourage pastors
Yes.
and their wives and ministry leaders. And so this is an opportunity to do that in both of the realms that we care deeply about. So
Right.
this is going to be an exciting time. If you are over in Europe, want to make your way over to that, we'll have more information about that. We do have listeners over there. So we'd love to see you there, and we're looking forward to the opportunity to gather together with Vlad and his church and the ministry leaders over in that area. So
We are. All right.
Amazing.
So that is fantastic, and we're excited about it. And we are going to shift gears now and get into our discussion for today, because today we want to talk about how to raise children who grow up to be great husbands and wives. And we're going to really talk about the habits, the attitudes, and the values that your kids develop. And as you invest in your children and implement all these different things into your children now, it's going to directly shape how they love and communicate and commit later in their marriage.
I feel like we should have just like interviewed my mom and dad to see how they made this. You know what I mean?
Well,
Like, because it's obviously a success story.
yes. I feel like
So I think that would be.
I think
that's what we should have done.
I think it's a different story. I think it's a story of a miracle that God can do despite the person. I think that's the story that comes from you as a husband.
Oh, okay.
I mean that as a compliment.
Yeah. Somehow it doesn't feel like a compliment.
At the beginning of our marriage, Thomas was rough. It was tough. We were both rough. We both did a lot of things that we shouldn't have done. And God has worked and moved and grown us.
We should have written a book about that.
We did write a book about it. It's called Happily Never After. It was all the things we did wrong in our marriage at the beginning and the things that we have done to correct those.
FamilyMeeting.org/shop to get your autographed copy now.
What a perfect plug. Thank
what
you,
I did
Thomas.
there?
That was great. But the truth is that God has specifically, he has really done a miracle in your life, because you are such a great husband. You're such a great father.
Go on.
And he's like, this is what I was looking for.
This is I don't get complimented often, so I'm going to eat it up while it's happening.
Poor little martyr, you.
I'm just like starved over here for
Yeah.
positive attention.
I know you are, because you're like shifting the entire episode to be about the kind of husband and father you are. But we can do this.
Well, no, this is what we're trying to raise our kids into.
Yes.
So that's what I'm saying.
No, but you are a wonderful husband and father, and the Lord has done amazing things in your life. The way that you have grown and changed and stepped up, it's been amazing to watch. But the thing that we want to impart to you today is that marriage preparation doesn't start in premarital counseling. Sometimes that's what we
Yeah.
think. Like, oh, when the kids get into premarital counseling, they're going to learn everything they need to know for marriage. Oh, no, it started way before then. It starts in your home when they're children. And they are learning from you and your spouse. They are learning from the things that you're teaching them. And whether you are a single parent or, working together as a team, whether your family is, a single unit, or if you have stepkids and adoptive kids or anything like that, like, what they see in your home is what they are interpreting as an appropriate marriage.
Yeah.
That's what they are growing to believe is a normal marriage. And that's a scary thing.
Oh, yeah.
What the definition of normal that we walk into our lives with can be kind of scary.
It definitely can be. You know, not everybody grows up and gets married, and that's totally okay.
Yep.
Somebody is not less valuable or less important or less successful because they stay single for their lives.
Absolutely.
That's okay. The Apostle Paul has a great deal to say about that, and just how much focus they can have on serving the Lord. We are Christians. We are followers of Jesus, and we're unapologetic about that. But I think sometimes in Christian cultures, we can kind of almost like treat single people like they're some sort of second-class citizen. And that's not the view that we get in Scripture at all. And so as we get ready to have this conversation, we understand not everybody's going to get married. Statistically speaking, though, most of your kids are going to grow up and they're going to get married and they're going to start families and all of that. Whatever direction God leads them in is great for them. But one of the things to understand is that early habits become lifelong patterns. It's so amazing to stop and to think about how those early years really shape a lifelong trajectory.
Here is a very trivial proof in my life of that.
Okay.
The way that I brush my teeth now is the way that I brushed my teeth when I was young. Like, the way that I do it the exact same way. I am a creature of habit, for one thing, and I love routine.
Okay, so let's hear about this habit. What do you do?
Well, I'm not trying to explain like the way that I brush, but I brush each tooth like in the same order every single time I brush my teeth.
So you brought this up. You know.
I'm not trying to go into how. I'm saying that I do.
I know, but it's kind of.
And it's the proof of the point.
I mean, I know you brush your teeth. Obviously, I know you brush your teeth every day. But I've never paid attention to the habit, the pattern. What is the pattern? Like, since childhood, you've been doing what? So explain, what does this routine look like?
Oh, goodness. Okay, well, I start always on the right bottom side at the very back of the molar.
Okay.
Like the very last molar, trying to get all the way to the back in the gums.
Gotcha.
I go on the top of all of the bottoms first. Then I go on the outside of all of the bottoms first. Then I go on the inside of all of the bottoms. Then I switch to the top.
Okay.
And I do the exact same pattern, but on the top.
So do you scrub around each tooth?
No, like I
at
go
one at a time, or you just go?
I go all of the outsides.
Okay.
Like all of the tops,
Top.
all of the outsides, all of the insides. And then I do the same up on the top.
Okay.
And then I do the entire everything all over again.
So twice.
Twice, yeah.
Okay.
And I'm still brushing my teeth that way to this day.
And then how does like flossing and all? Do you floss every day?
I don't floss every day. I should floss every day, but I do floss. And
But you have beautiful teeth. Like you've always had
Yeah.
like very beautiful white teeth. Like
this
your
is
smile is amazing.
this is a really weird conversation that we are having right now.
No, but it's a proven point. Like it's an illustration of those early habits
Yeah.
become lifelong patterns.
Right.
And
So-
that's true in a lot of different
Yeah.
areas of your life.
Right. Yeah, with teeth brushing, but I didn't necessarily have to tell everybody how I brush my teeth.
Well, I mean, if you bring it up, it's a natural question. Like,
I've
okay,
gotta-
how have you been doing it since a kid? Especially when your teeth look that great.
Now I want to smile without showing my teeth, and I literally cannot do that.
You cannot. If you're on YouTube, check those pearly whites out. They are amazing.
You're so funny.
So-
I still use the same toothpaste I used as a child.
Oh, I thought
too.
you were going to say toothbrush, and I'm like, dang, that's an old
no,
toothbrush.
no, yucky. No. I used Crest whitening toothpaste with the green scope,
Okay.
because if it's not green, I don't want nothing to do with it. Give me that green stuff. I love the spearmint taste. I do not like peppermint. I don't like the other stuff. I want spearmint.
Yeah.
So, same toothpaste too. But it does go to the point. The things that we do as in childhood and those patterns, they come in, we carry them into adulthood, which means we carry them into our relationships.
Yeah. So the way children learn to communicate, handle conflict, express emotions, that becomes their default in adult relationships.
Mm-hmm.
So as you think about your kids when they're small, it's helpful to understand that as you're leading and guiding them through all these different things, you're equipping them to become the adult that they will become and how they interact with their relationships. And of course, there is no closer, more impactful relationship as an adult than the person that you're married to. And so these patterns often carry over unconsciously.
Yeah, you don't even know you do it.
And it shapes how you respond under stress or disagreement. What feels normal to them in childhood is often what they recreate later without even realizing it.
It's like muscle memory.
Yeah. Doing the same thing.
Yeah.
And that's just kind of your default of how you do things.
Now, do you want to hear a great illustration of muscle memory? I mean, I'm going to share with you a great illustration of muscle memory.
Okay.
This is something that I just did the other day in the van. So, do you guys realize that every time you get in and out of your car, you do it the exact same way? It's muscle memory. Like, you don't think about it, but you always do it the same way, even if variables in your car have changed, right? So, like, if the seat is changed or whatever, you still get in the same way until you, like, bump your head or bump your knee. Well, I got into the van the other day, and for whatever reason, whenever my mom is riding in my van, she puts the armrest up. She always puts the armrest up.
Wait, puts your armrest up?
Like, if I'm driving and she's in the passenger seat, she puts the armrest up.
So you were getting in the passenger
So then I was
seat.
getting in the
Okay.
passenger seat, And I got in the way I always do, which apparently I lean in and I put my elbow on my armrest and I like prop myself up and scoot the rest of the way in. And there was no armrest, so I literally just like fell on my face into the van because of muscle memory. Because I didn't even look to see if the armrest was there. I just put my elbow where I always put it and then I fell. And I was like, oh, the armrest is up. So anyway, muscle memory. You just do things and it's subconscious. You don't even know you do them.
But I don't even understand that because you can see, like you're looking into the car that you're getting into.
That's
you
the
can
point
see
of
that it's
muscle
there.
memory. It doesn't matter that you can see it. You do the same thing. And that's just the way it is with these kids. And when they get older and when we become adults and we go into our marriage, we do the same thing, even though we can see the variables have changed.
I think you have a lack of muscles if you have to, have supports to get yourself into the van when you're 40 years old.
41.
You don't look a day over 40.
Thank you so much. That means a lot.
Now tell us about your skincare routine.
No. Okay, let's look at some other things, other ways and things that, marriage training begins in childhood, all right? Emotional regulation. Okay, so here's another kind of muscle memory that we're teaching our kids. Because kids who learn patience and self-control and empathy early on, they are better prepared to navigate the challenges of marriage.
Yeah.
So, think about your children right now. How are they with patience? How are they with self-control? How are they with empathy? Some of our kids are great at one or more of those things. Some of our kids are terrible at one or more of those things. But whatever they are in these areas, that is going to carry over into their marriage unless they can work on those things and improve, right? So what about this one? I think this is so interesting to think about this, okay? Can your kids pause instead of reacting to something? So you think about really young children, when something doesn't go their way, they lay down on the ground, throw a fit, kicking and screaming. And of course we have to correct that behavior.
Yeah.
But that's their default until you correct it out of them and teach them, a better way, right? So are your children more capable now than they used to be of resolving conflict in a healthy way? How do they react when they don't get their way? Because you think about marriage, I think this is the hardest thing about marriage in the beginning, is not getting your way anymore.
Yeah.
Now you have to, every situation, literally everything, where you set the couch, where you go to eat, what you spend on groceries, everything is about making decisions who gets their way, because you disagree on almost everything.
Yeah.
It's pretty rare that it's oh yeah, I like the couch there too. Awesome, me too. I love that place for dinner. Let's go there right now. That's exactly what I feel like. Yeah, I think that dollar amount is the exact dollar amount we should spend on groceries. That's rare for everything to line up. So how do they react when they don't get their way? Because they're not going to get their way in marriage. It's going to constantly be a compromise.
Well, and I look around, you mentioned it, but I look around our living room and our kitchen and I'm like, there's hundreds of illustrations of compromise throughout the house.
Yes.
Of exactly where everything is, the colors, the wall hangings, all of it.
Mm-hmm. Yep, exactly. And so how do your kids do with that emotional regulation? Because that's going to affect them. Emotional maturity built early prevents a lot of avoidable relationship struggles later. So this is the time to think about this stuff when they are younger, when they're in the house. Maybe your kids are no longer young. Maybe they're teenagers now. This is still your opportunity to work on these things and help them to grow in these areas.
Well, and it's you see certain things that happen, whether it's somebody out and about and it's an adult who they don't have any regulation over their emotions. Mm-hmm. And you're like, man, living with that person would be horrible.
Yeah.
Being married to that person would be horrible. Well, I saw something that happened I think it was yesterday. I don't know if you saw this on social media. It was a video of somebody in a minivan. They were driving down the sidewalk trying to run over a kid on a bike.
No.
Yes. So it was you saw the
Oh my
kid on the bike stop, and I don't know if the person in the van said something to them or what happened, but they turned around, couldn't hear what was happening, and all of a sudden the kid starts biking away, and the van starts like driving on the sidewalk to like it apparently tried to hit them.
That's insane.
Yeah, and I see stuff like that happens and you see it on social media, and you're like, what in the world? How has this person never learned to regulate their emotions? But all that stuff starts early.
It does.
It's like when your kids are young, obviously they don't know how to regulate their emotions. But as they get older, you should be equipping them to learn how to deal with that.
Absolutely. Right.
And so I think another thing is like understanding authority and commitment. Mm-hmm. Right? Learning to respect authority and follow through on responsibilities lays a foundation for honoring lifelong commitments.
Right. It does.
Which marriage is a lifelong covenant that you are in. And Lysandra and I have talked about this. I don't know on the podcast. I know we've talked about it at marriage events for sure, and in marital counseling and stuff like that, where our commitment to God's design for marriage sometimes was the only reason we're still married.
Right.
Where it was like, you know what? If it wasn't for that, we probably both at different times would have walked away from this marriage.
Yes.
But we made that commitment, and we were gonna stick it out, and we were gonna figure it out and work on it. But we had that commitment, and teaching your kids like early on. I think about things just like sports is good, where we've had different situations where one of our daughters at different times wanted to do this instead of their commitment to the team or that. It's like, no, you made a commitment to this team, and so you're gonna skip whatever that thing was.
That fun thing, you're gonna skip it. You're gonna do practice.
Yep, and you're doing practice, and you're going to the game, and you're going to the tournament because you've made a commitment to all these people. And I think one of the things that it does is it teaches that love isn't just about feelings, but about faithfulness to what you've agreed to. It is a conscious choice that you make every single day. And this mindset prepares them to stay steady even when emotions fluctuate, because we all know that. Like if you're listening to this and you're married, like your feelings for your spouse fluctuate.
Oh,
you
yeah.
don't always feel the exact same way with them. And Lysandra talks about there were times where she hated me.
Mm-hmm. It was this morning.
It's like, as we're getting ready for this episode.
You were annoying me, I will say that. But
Me
I did not feel hate.
You're the one that came in right off the bat with an Australian accent. Like,
I
you
did.
started this whole thing. So.
I did, but that was cut from the YouTube video.
Yeah.
Won't
We'll
it
see.
be?
Well, I don't know. We'll see.
You have to cut that. I was being so
we'll
dumb.
see. Might be the most watched episode ever.
Oh, man.
People are going to go back now if they're just listening to this and go find the YouTube video just to see if it's there.
It's so bad, too. I'm being goofy. Okay. So let's think about some character traits that are really important in spouses, and then how can we work on developing those in our kids now? Because this is stuff that's important in marriage, okay?
Yeah.
The first one is, I love this. This one's so important. This is why it's first. Humility and teachability.
Well, and that's why I did all this stuff at the beginning, was kind of to like lay the foundation for the talk on humility.
Right, because you were showing us what humility doesn't look like?
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when
that
you
was
were...
all, it was all on purpose. It was designed.
Yes. When you were talking about how perfect you are, it was an illustration.
Yeah, I mean,
it
you
was
could
not
tell,
real pride.
No, not real pride. You could tell the truth and not be proud. So like the whole thing was like leading up to this conversation.
Fascinating. So one of my favorite things about Thomas is his teachability. And it sounds like that makes it sound like I know everything and I've got to teach him.
Who's proud now?
That's what it sounds like, but that's not what I mean. What I mean is like his desire to learn and grow. And like if I come to him with an issue and I'm like, I'm very frustrated because I feel like you're not helping enough in this area, like example. He will be like, okay, I'm hearing you. What do you think that I'm not doing right? What do you want me to work on? And you are willing to change.
Okay, so rather than like be vague. Let's give the last. I don't even remember what it is. What's the last real example that you're thinking of? Like, I'm okay with you sharing it. It doesn't matter to me.
The last one would have been when you teased me about something that I didn't want you to tease me about.
That we'd not talked about before?
No, not exactly. So,
Okay.
So from day one, me and Thomas have had things that were off limits that I did not ever want him to tease me about, because we banter a lot and we love that and we have fun.
We do?
But I had two items that I did not ever want him to tease me about. And that was being stupid or being fat. Those were two things that I'm like, I can't even handle any like silly joking about that.
Yeah.
So those were two. And then I came up with a third one that I don't want to share on the podcast.
No, that's fine.
Because it's about somebody else.
Yeah.
And so I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. So so the third thing I'm not going to share. But in a moment where I was crying and upset, I had said something about like, I don't think it's funny when you tease me about being like that.
Yeah.
And Thomas did not remember that conversation. I believe the conversation happened. You believe it didn't happen?
I don't know.
You don't remember it anyway.
No, I don't remember.
So anyway, then he teased me about that. And I came to him and I was like, I cannot believe that you crossed the boundary I set. Like, you teased me about that when I'd asked you not to tease me about that. And he was like, well, I don't even remember you telling me that. And I was like, are you hearing me right now? Like, take away all distractions, focus on what I'm saying. Please don't tease me about that.
And I definitely remember that conversation,
yes,
for sure.
Because the goal was that he would not forget again, because it really upset me. And so even in that moment, though, you were willing to be like, okay, what did I say? What did I do? What can I do to make sure I don't do that again?
Yeah.
So that's like teachability. It's you're willing to learn and grow as a husband.
Yeah.
You're willing to hear me when I say, like, I didn't like something that you did. Will you please not do that again? And that is one of my very favorite traits about you. Over everything else, I love that you are willing to hear me out when I have an issue. And this starts in childhood. We can help our kids to be teachable. And this is something I want to work on with our kids, because they're a little defensive, I think. Like, when they're approached like with an issue, they're very defensive. And I would like to help them work on that before they enter into marriage. All of them.
Yeah.
All four of them.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure where that comes from. I'm not sure the breakdown. I'm not sure what we missed along the way, but somewhere we missed this along the way, and they're very defensive. So that's something that we need to have a family meeting about.
I would say not all the time.
Not all the time.
They can be.
Yeah, but I would say it's like an area that we should at least address.
Yeah.
And work on. Because a strong spouse can admit when they're wrong and grow from their mistakes. Mm-hmm. And prioritize unity over pride. And that's ultimately what being teachable is. It's saying, like, I value our relationship more than I value being right. I value you more than I value never having to change or being whoever I want to be. And humility comes into play here, because pride is the thing that says, I don't need to change. I never will change. But humility allows a person to listen instead of always needing to be right. And this creates space for growth and deeper connection in marriage. So how can we train and teach our kids at whatever age they are to be teachable, to be humble, to hear a person out when they have an issue? This is going to impact their marriage in a huge way.
Yeah, and we've tried to emphasize, the Team Osterkamp, the family, and that kind of connection, which would naturally stem and kind of transition into a marriage relationship as well. Mm-hmm. Other important character traits are faithfulness and perseverance. And we touched on this just a little bit a second ago, but, that commitment through difficulty, not just ease, is what sustains a lasting marriage. All relationships have hard times. It's not easy to have a good marriage relationship.
Right.
And, perseverance helps couples push through seasons that feel discouraging or stagnant. Like, you're going to have times where you go through difficulties personally and as a couple. And what are you going to do in those moments? Are you just going to quit? Are you going to give up? Are you going to become selfish? Or are you going to persevere through the situation, learn, grow, come out stronger? I think about all the different difficulties that Lysandra and I have gone through. Health situations, financial troubles, like relationship issues, not necessarily just with us, but with people around us as well. And so there's been a lot of different things that could have just pulled us apart. That we could just quit and we're done. But, you know, it really, that perseverance can help you stay committed in those moments where otherwise you'd turn away. And it just reinforces the idea that love is a choice that continues even when it's hard. You can still and should still choose to love that person.
This was something my parents literally taught me when I was a child. Like, they told me multiple times that love is a choice. It's not a feeling. You choose to love someone. You choose to love someone. They talked about it in other relationships with family, like outside of marriage. When relationships were difficult, they talked about we're choosing to love them, you know? And so that was something that they instilled in me. And I have definitely carried that into our marriage. Other character traits these are really important: integrity and honesty. Because what is your marriage if you don't have integrity? What is your marriage if you don't have honesty? There is no trust there. The marriage will absolutely fall apart if there's not integrity and honesty. And trust is built on truthfulness, and it's built on consistency. Not just with words. It starts with words, but it is proved with actions. So when someone lives with integrity, their spouse feels safe and secure. And this kind of reliability then strengthens the foundation of this long-term relationship that we want to be in till death do us part. So we've got to be teaching our kids honesty. That means every time they lie, we confront it. We don't laugh at it. And I remember a parent laughing when a child lied about eating chocolate when they had chocolate on their face, and they laughed and they were like, "Oh my gosh, it's so cute. They have chocolate all over their face and they just told me they didn't eat any chocolate." And I'm like, no, that's not funny. That's a lie. Like, oh no. You know, in my mind, I'm like, oh, I of course didn't say anything because it isn't my child. But seriously, like, we can't be laughing at their dishonesty and then expect them to grow up and be truthful with their spouse. That's something we instill within them when they're young, and it's super, super important.
Well, the thing is, like, one of the worst things you can do to somebody is lie to them, because it kills the relationship.
Yep.
It's impossible to have a good, deep, quality relationship with somebody who lies and who's not truthful. And so one of the biggest crimes that you can commit against your family members, and we've tried to instill this in our kids, is to lie to them. Like, the truth is always the right option. And sometimes the truth is hard to hear. Now, we don't need to be jerks. We're not saying
right.
You know, it's like that question, like, wives sometimes will ask to their husbands, like, does this make me look fat? This dress, or do these jeans, or whatever it is. And it's like, there's a way that you can answer that question and be truthful, but not be mean.
So, like, those jeans don't make you look fat. Your fat makes you look fat?
Yes.
No.
No, but one of the things Lysandra, you know, will ask me about how she looks, about my opinions about this dress, that dress, is she's trying to figure out what she wants to wear. And depending on how it looks, you know, I may say, like, that dress is not as flattering as some of the others. Right.
Yeah. And that's a perfect way to put it, because I want him to tell me the truth, but I also don't want him to be like, you look fat in that. Right. So if he just says that one is not flattering, then that's honesty, and it's also love.
Well, and I'm specific in answering the question, you know, because of where the cut of the flow starts and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And so you can be honest and still be kind. Right. I think sometimes it's like, well, I'm going to lie because I don't want to hurt their feelings. Mm-hmm. But, you know, when you lie to somebody, it really hinders the relationship.
But that is the exact thing we have to teach our kids. Yeah. Like, because maybe our kids are lying because they want to protect feelings. Well, we have to explain that to them. Maybe they're lying because they don't want to get in trouble. Well, we have to explain why that's not okay. Maybe they always tell the truth, but they're jerks about it. Yeah. We got to explain that to them. You can't do that either. So this is all training that happens, and you are literally raising someone who is going to be married to someone potentially.
Yeah.
And like, you have to teach them these things. They do not just learn this on their own.
Well, and you've got some people who are like, that's just who I am. I'll just speak the truth. And it's like, no, you're a jerk. You're just being a jerk. You can speak the truth without being a jerk about it, and without intentionally trying to hurt somebody and call it speaking the truth, and speaking your mind. But those are some important character traits that we need to be instilling in our children as they learn and grow and develop and have relationships of their own and most likely step into a marriage relationship. So one of the things that I think we should talk about when we're talking about, raising kids who are going to grow up and be good husbands and be good wives is to think about how our own marriages model relationship patterns for our kids.
Right, because the different character traits that we were just talking about, we're talking about teaching them to our children, right?
Yeah.
We're talking about implementing these things, right? Correcting bad behavior so that they're on the right path in these things. Those are like actively teaching. Now we're talking about how your own relationship is doing the teaching. Like, you're not talking about it, they're watching it happen before their eyes, and they're taking it in and they're internalizing it as normal, and they're learning from that.
Well, and they're going to learn more from how you model things than what you say. Like, both of those things should align. Like, what you say should line up with
Right.
what you're modeling. But if you're saying something and you're modeling something different, they're paying more attention to what you're modeling than what you're saying.
Yeah, the modeling is more contagious than the words.
Yeah, and so one of the things that I think of the most has to do with conflict resolution, and how are you resolving conflict in your own marriage relationship and in your family dynamic, because it's something that's not just taught. It's observed, and what are they learning from watching how you resolve conflict in your home?
Right. And we always encourage people, like, yeah, you're going to have fights. That's totally normal in your marriage. Resolving them the right way is very important. And we encourage people to try not to fight in front of their kids.
Yeah.
But will your kids observe you fighting at some point in your marriage? Absolutely. No matter how hard you try, they're going to catch like a little passive aggressive comment. They're going to catch maybe a little something through your bedroom door while you're arguing or whatever.
Well, and they know, they can sense when
The tension.
it's tense between the two
Right.
of you also, yeah.
Right. So if they do see you fight, what do they see for the resolution? Do they see you fight and they never ever see you resolve it? That's not good at all.
Yeah, it says a lot to them. Like, that's a pretty strong message. But kids learn how to argue, forgive, and reconcile by watching their parents.
Yep.
So what is it that they're observing? And to the extent that they have witnessed the conflict is the extent that they need to witness the resolution.
Yes.
Like you're literally teaching them how to own their own mistakes and their failures. You're teaching them how to say the words, "I'm sorry."
Our families, Thomas's family and my family, dealt with conflict resolution in extreme opposite ways.
Yeah.
Was not the same at all. Then we got married. And he came into the marriage wanting to resolve or not resolve conflict the way he watched his parents do it. And I came in wanting to do it the way my parents did it. And it was so misaligned that we had issues continuously at the beginning because of this.
Yeah, and so we wanted to the best of our ability, equip our kids, and obviously they're still in our home, and so we're still working on this all the time. And there's always opportunities in a home to work on this, because you've got people living in close proximity. You're going to have conflict.
Yeah.
May not be major blowouts and all that, but there's conflict, even over simple things. So you have that opportunity. But they notice tone, body language, whether problems actually get resolved or whether we just pretend that it didn't happen. These observations become their blueprint for handling conflict in their own relationships. And so how is it that you're modeling conflict resolution in your home?
Right. And respect. Respect is setting the standard. So the tone that you use with your spouse is teaching them what's acceptable in their own relationships. If you scream at your spouse, they're going to believe that it's okay to scream at their spouse. If you are gentle and kind, they're going to believe that that is the proper way to speak to someone. And consistent respect, whether it's the way you're speaking to them, whether it's, and this is something that I had to tell Thomas early on. We were just telling Catherine about this because she's about to enter marriage. When we first got married, Thomas would take off his dirty clothes and leave them on the floor wherever he was standing when he took them off. So they could be in the closet, they could be in the bedroom, they could be in the bathroom, they could be in the hallway for that matter. I don't think I ever found your dirty clothes in the kitchen.
I don't think so.
I don't think so. So that was off limits, I guess. But
If you did, your clothes were there too.
that is true. Moving on. So I had to finally tell Thomas, I was like, I want you to understand it's not just about keeping the house clean. It's about disrespect. I feel like you disrespect me when you leave your socks because what you're saying is, I know that she'll pick them up. I don't care where she has to walk from or to pick up my dirty clothes. And it felt so disrespectful because I'm already washing the laundry. Like that was something I wanted to do. I loved handling that aspect of like taking care of Thomas. But I was like, I feel disrespected when you leave your dirty clothes wherever they lie. It feels like you don't respect the effort I'm making to wash your clothes and dry them and everything.
Well, and I wasn't trying to be disrespectful.
No.
It was just I wasn't being thoughtful.
Mm-hmm. But that's how I took it. That's how it felt.
Yeah.
And so as soon as I explained it that way to Thomas, he was like, oh, okay. And would you say that after that conversation, you would say, oh, that makes sense.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Like you get it then. And then he definitely from that moment almost always has put his clothes in the hamper for me.
Well, to start with, it was putting them on the lid of the hamper because for some reason our hamper had a lid on it.
Because it looked cleaner. If you had the dirty clothes covered with a lid, it looked more tidy. But we had to make that compromise that if he was going to put his clothes in there, the lid could not be on there because he wanted to be able to throw them in the hamper from wherever he stood.
Yeah, it was less work. Less work to than walking over and lifting the lid and putting all the stuff in there.
So
it was
I compromised and got rid of the lid, even though I didn't
which
like
is
that.
one of those compromises we
compromise.
talked about at the beginning of the episode.
Yes. But when you're teaching your kids that respect matters, then when they walk into a situation like what we just described, they understand like, oh, respect matters. Like I have to show that I respect.
Well, and I feel like I feel like it's been my job to make sure the girls respect Lysandra. Mm-hmm. In how they do things, where they leave their stuff, picking stuff up, how they communicate and they talk to her. And so, dads, make sure that you are taking the responsibility that your kids learn how to respect your wife, respect their mother.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Because without respect, without you showing respect to your spouse, then they're going to normalize disrespect in relationships without even realizing it.
Yeah.
Because that's what they saw you do. So think about how you are respecting your spouse, and are you showing that? Are you speaking it? Are you showing it? Are you living it?
So you're modeling conflict resolution. You're modeling how respect is handled in your home, whether you have it or a lack of it. You are also modeling affection and partnership. And so a healthy expression of love and teamwork become what children seek and replicate later in life. So how are you modeling that in all the things that happen? Are you loving towards each other? Are you on the same team? Are you working together? Or is it just that, hey, one of you's doing all the work and the other one is not, putting in as much effort? And that's in all areas of life, but also in the way that you express your love and emotion towards each other. It should be equal. It shouldn't be the kids just hear mom saying, I love you, or showing affection. It's important that your kids hear you say the words, not just to them, but to your spouse as well. So once again, husbands, you are called to lead in your home in every area. That includes in how you show affection to your wife and to your kids. And so show them that great example of what a loving husband and father looks like, whether they're going to grow up and be the husband and father, or whether they're going to grow up and marry a man who's going to be the husband and father in their home. You're showing them and should be modeling the example of what that should look like. And it builds a positive vision for what a relationship can and should be.
So how do we actually teach our kids respect? How do we teach them responsibility and selflessness in their future marriages? A couple of things that you can do is, first of all, you can require respectful communication.
Yeah.
That means teaching your kids to listen, teaching them to respond kindly when other people talk. They have to value other people's perspectives. So these all happen with conversations, these happen with corrections, and these happen with modeling behavior. You have to correct disrespect consistently, not just every once in a while, but consistently. And this really goes into our book, Discipline That Works, because this is one of the main points, is that you have to be consistent with your discipline. It cannot be all over the place. One day you get really upset when they're disrespectful, but the next day you think it's funny. That's going to mess them up.
Yeah.
What in the world do you want from me, Mom? What do you expect from me, Dad? We've got to be consistent. And when they disrespect you or their sibling or anyone else, every single time, consistently, it needs to be understood this is not acceptable and here are the repercussions because you were disrespectful. And over time, respectful speech becomes more natural. Respectful actions become a habit rather than forced behavior. When you are consistent long enough, it becomes the behavior. It becomes the default. And even though we are born with the default of selfishness, pride, self-preservation, the defaults can be changed.
Yep.
The Bible literally tells us you can renew your mind. Your mind can be completely changed. And it is through consistent change, like consistent modifications. You can use scripture to do that. You can use conversations. You can use discipline. You can use modeling it. But all of these things kind of work hand in hand to help change a behavior.
And another practical way to teach them is to assign meaningful responsibilities. One of the things we have taught our kids from day one is if you're a part of this family, that means you contribute. Like we all do our part and our share in this family. Chores and contributions build a sense of ownership and accountability. And so, from the time that they're super young, you should be figuring out what's an appropriate way for them to contribute, whether that's learning how to pick up their own toys, like right at the beginning, and then going all the way up to like mowing the lawn and washing the dishes and doing their laundry and walking the dog. Mm-hmm. Like these are all things that are important for them to know. And whether they know it or not and know that it's happening or not, when children know they're needed, they develop a stronger work ethic. And this prepares them to contribute actively in a future household as well. Like they need to learn, like this stuff doesn't happen. Like clean dishes don't just show up in the cabinet. Clean laundry doesn't just show up in your drawers and on your hangers. Like somebody had to do this.
Right.
And so making sure that they learn how to contribute in a household.
Mm-hmm. Another thing you can do to teach these things to your children is to create opportunities for them to serve others, because so much of our marriage is serving one another.
Yep.
And if we can get that into their minds early on, they'll have a much better marriage. So you need to encourage sharing, encourage helping, encourage putting other people's needs ahead of their own. There's great opportunities for this in sibling relationships.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And none of them want to do any of these things in sibling relationships. But they should also be serving in their church. They should be serving in their community. They should be doing things for other people and getting nothing in return, because that's marriage.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's marriage. You do something for your partner and you don't necessarily get anything out of it. And that's good for us. That's loving like Jesus loves. That's serving like Jesus serves. And we are called to sacrifice for our spouse. So when you give them serving opportunities, these are moments that train children to look beyond themselves. I'm not just focusing on me, but they are practicing small acts of service. And if they do that regularly, then it's going to build this selfless mindset over time.
Well, and one of the things we try to teach our kids, because we do have 3 adult children now who are either in college or they're working, have their own business and whatever else. Think about Violet entering high school and getting ready. She's starting college classes too. Like, they all have different times where they're more busy than normal. And so there's times where we're like, hey, your sister has all these different finals going on. Can you walk the dog for her today? Or your sister has a whole day full of clients that she's cleaning for today. And so she is not going to have time to do the dishes. Can you wash the dishes for her? And so we're teaching them exactly what Lysander's talking about, to be thoughtful in how they serve each other, to recognize the workload and the responsibility load that the people in their lives have. And it's like, okay, if my load's a little less today, what can I do to help kind of pick up some of the slack for you? Because that's what marriage relationships are all about as well. Like, there's never a time where our lives have just kind of been consistent in workload for each of us. It's been up and down. Each week is different. And so there are times where Lysander is picking up more of the load here, or there's times where I'm picking up more of the load here because of the nature of how things are going. And so teaching them to recognize that.
Absolutely. We want to think about some of the areas in the Bible that show us character traits and patterns in our lives that are going to come into marriage. They come into play in marriage. And then how can we teach our kids this? Because we want to raise children who honor God in their relationships. We want to honor God in our relationship.
Well, and not just that, because we understand there are people who are listening that you're not a follower of Jesus, and that's okay. We're glad that you're here, but you can take biblical principles and apply them to your relationships, and they're just principles that work.
Yeah, they are.
Now, obviously, as followers of Jesus, like, our mission and the command given to us is to tell others about Jesus, and we want you to come to faith in Jesus and find that forgiveness and all the blessings that come with it.
Yeah.
But even if you're not there yet, you can take the principles that are being shared right here, and if you put them into practice, you will see the benefits that happen from it.
Absolutely. And the first one that we want to share with you is love and sacrificial living. And we've been talking about sacrifice for one another. And there's this beautiful portion of the verse in 1 Corinthians 16:14 that says, "Let all that you do be done in love." If you do everything in your marriage through the filter of love, it will change your marriage. If you can teach your children to do everything that they do through the filter of love, it will prepare them for marriage. Because we have to teach our children that love is an action, not just a feeling. So we've already said love is a choice. Yes. We understand love is not a feeling, although that is what we are told in our culture. Love is a feeling. You feel love, then okay, you love. You fell out of love, I no longer love them. Because love is not a feeling, it is a choice. And it's also an action. There's got to be an action behind the words, or it means nothing.
Yeah.
So the kind of love that's talking about, we see in the Bible, is the kind of love that chooses patience. It's the kind of love that chooses kindness and sacrifice, even when it's inconvenient. And what that love is it is a reflection of a commitment to God. It mirrors the kind of love that Jesus had for us when he died on the cross to save us from our sins. Because the Bible talks about the fact that marriage is a picture of Jesus and the church, and Jesus and what he's done for us. So that's true love. Love is sacrifice. Love is action. And Jesus was the epitome of that. So can we teach that to our children at a young age? Can we teach that to them rather than just saying, do what I say? Can we tell them why? Why do they have to do that sacrificial thing for their sibling? Well, it's because Jesus sacrificed for us and showed us what real love is. That's the kind of love we want to implement here. So teach them the why behind it. And the why should always go back to the Word of God, because that's the foundation we stand on.
Another amazing biblical principle for raising children who honor God in their relationships is humility and valuing others. Mm-hmm. I often think of this verse in Philippians chapter 2, it's verse number 3. It's so convicting and yet so powerful for relationships. Mm-hmm. It says, in humility, Count others more significant than yourselves. And that's not something that comes naturally.
Right.
Even if you're a people pleaser, like it's not something that comes naturally. It's something you have to intentionally focus in and work on. And of course, the Holy Spirit, works in our hearts and he changes us once we come to know Jesus as our Savior. But we should be encouraging a mindset of serving rather than self-centeredness. And we just talked about this just a little bit ago, in being more thoughtful and valuing your spouse. And we're teaching our kids is like, hey, value your siblings, value your family members more than yourself. Think about them first. When children learn to value others, they build stronger and healthier connections. And this is one of those things that we've tried to teach them is like, it's so rare for somebody to truly value somebody else more than they value themselves.
Yeah, it's very rare.
And so when people find that and they see that in somebody, it like draws people to you like a magnet. Mm-hmm. And so this attitude protects against pride, which damages relationships instead of builds them.
Yes. How about this one? Forgiveness and grace. We want to share with you our family's key verse. We will talk about this forever on this podcast because this is such a good filter for your family. Ephesians 4:32 says, "Be kind to one another, tender-hearted, forgiving one another, even as God in Christ forgave you." And we need to be helping our kids to understand forgiveness and grace. Give your sister grace. Give your brother grace. Give your mom grace. Give your dad grace, right?
Well, and grace, for those who don't know what that word means, it just means showing them and giving them good when they don't deserve it. Mm-hmm. So that means speaking kind words even though they may not deserve it. But what did they say? You don't know what they called me first. Well, no, that doesn't really matter. Speak kind words. That's showing them grace. Do kind things even when they don't deserve it. That's what grace truly is.
Absolutely. And there are so many opportunities in family relationships to implement that grace.
Yeah.
But being kind to one another no matter what. And when our girls would not be kind to one another, we would say, what does the Bible say about kindness? And they would say, and be kind one to another. And they would repeat this verse. Because this is our motto to live by, being kind to each other, be tenderhearted. So when they started to have bitterness in their heart toward a sibling, okay, what does the Bible say about your heart? Should your heart be hard towards your sister? No, it should be tenderhearted, right? Forgiving one another. We've got to help our children practice forgiveness as a core relationship skill. Yeah. Because will they need to forgive their spouse?
Absolutely.
Many times over, right?
You cannot have a close relationship with anyone without understanding how to practice forgiveness.
Absolutely. And so what they can learn as we teach this to them as children is they learn that mistakes don't have to end a relationship.
Yep.
And that's an important part of marriage because there will be mistakes made. Some are big and some are little. Some are little that happen lots and lots and lots, right? And they build up.
Yeah.
But those mistakes do not have to end the relationship. You can work through that with forgiveness, with grace. Grace allows love to continue even when imperfections show up. And they are going to need forgiveness. They are going to need grace from their spouse because your kids aren't perfect. I just ruined someone's day.
Yes, you did.
They thought their kids were perfect.
Yeah, you gave them a dose of reality.
Yeah, your kids are not perfect and neither are ours, okay? Your kids are going to need forgiveness and they're going to need grace. So we've got to teach them how to give that so that can be present in their future relationships.
Well, and your kids are learning how to love by watching you. If you want to raise children who are emotionally healthy, committed, and ready for lifelong relationships, these ideas will help you parent with long-term vision and purpose.
That's right. You're not just raising kids for today. You are raising someone's future spouse.
Yep. And
if you want more information on this, email us at info@familymeeting.org. I'm going to repeat that and see if I can get it right. info@familymeeting.org. And you just put in the email, Raising Future Spouses Parenting Guide. And we are going to send you this parenting guide that's going to help you in this area a little bit more and help you to guide you through raising your kids to be someone's spouse.
Yep. So family meeting tonight. You're going to sit down and we're just going to focus in on one of those key areas that we've talked about, and that is forgiveness. Think about that verse, Ephesians 4:32, and modeling forgiveness. And what does that look like? And I think part of the conversation is talking to your kids about how do they feel like forgiveness is practiced in our home. Do we do a good job at that? And teaching them what true forgiveness looks like. And maybe because of certain conflict and whatever that's happening in your home, you may need to work through some of those things and literally talk through and work through how to show forgiveness in your family relationships. And so I think it'll be a good conversation for you with your kids tonight.
Thank you guys for joining us today. Please go and subscribe to the Family Meeting Podcast from your favorite podcast provider. And if you found this information helpful, please share this episode on social media and invite your friends and family to listen in with you.
To find more content and information Lysandra and I provide, you can go to our website, familymeeting.org, or email us at info@familymeeting.org. If you'd like to shoot us a text or call us, you can send a voice message at 904-257-3062.
And we want to invite you to join us for our next family meeting as we discuss perpetual stress. Do you feel like you are living with perpetual stress?
Yes, her name is Lysandra.
Right. And she ain't going anywhere. And there are times where we do feel like I haven't had a break from stress for the last 20 years or 10 years or whatever. And this is affecting your marriage. Could the stress be because you don't have proper boundaries in your life? Maybe you're taking on too much. Maybe you haven't created boundaries in your extended family that you need to create, or with friendships. So we are going to explore this idea of perpetual stress, how it's affecting your marriage, and what boundaries can you set up to get off this crazy ride.
Thanks for joining us today for this family meeting. Have a great week, everybody. This meeting is adjourned.
All right, so we've got to be teaching our kids how to be good wives and husbands.
Yeah.
What did your mom teach you about being a good husband or a good wife? And have you honored your mom for this Mother's Day? It's right around the corner. Don't forget your mother. Don't forget your children's mother. Husbands, don't sit back there and say, well, she's not my mom. She's your children's mother, and you better honor her, okay?
Well, when you're asking about, like, what did you learn from your parents, you can learn what not to do.
That's
right?
true.
And some of the things is like, I learned what not to do. And that sometimes can be the best teacher, is like recognizing this is not the way a relationship should be. And so I'm going to change. I'm going to do something different. So no matter your situation, how you grew up, what was modeled in front of you, you can take a lot away from it and learn how to be the best husband and wife possible.
That's right. So do that and honor your mother this Mother's Day. It's only a couple of days away. All right. We love you guys. We will see you right here next week.
See you later.